Hello, this is Athena Jezik again, and I wanted to show you some things today that you could probably translate into doing it to yourself. Sometimes there's a little puffiness that we feel in our face, so I'm going to show you some lymphatic techniques in order to move the fluids out of the face. And I'm going to teach you some stuff about how the lymphatic system really works. There's a lot of things out there that are saying moves lymph, but when you understand how the lymph system works, the vessels are very, very tiny, they're hair-like, and if you go even too deep with them, they're going to just not respond at all. So they're also, with the lymph work, you have to move it in a particular direction because it flows in a certain direction. So you have to understand which way you're doing with it. You have to also open up the system because the lymph system works like a vacuum. It's a vacuum. So if one area gets clogged or stuck, the whole system is going to slow down. So you have to understand that too. Now, stretching is a good thing for the lymph. That will help the lymph more than anything is stretching, because the technique is actually a skin stretching technique that you're going to do, and that I will show you how to do this on yourself. So to start out with, if you're wanting to work the face, you actually, and drain any fluid that might be in there, you actually want to start with the lymphatic nodes that are right underneath the clavicle. And to do that, the skin stretching technique is where you take your fingers and you stretch the skin in, but you're just on the skin. There's the skin, and then there's a layer underneath the skin, and that's the layer that you want. You want just a layer underneath the skin. So you're just going to push towards the center here, and you're going to push it this way, and then you're going to lift your fingers up and let the skin slide back. And you want to do that about 3 to 5 times. Just push the skin stretch and then ride it back. So you're pushing in, stretching very little just under the skin, and then you lift those fingers up and ride that skin back. And then you go to the next place. And you don't use much pressure on this at all. And you just keep moving it back because you're pushing fluid now into the system to be eliminated. The whole idea of lymphatic work is to move it in a direction so it can get to the other filters. It'll go to the heart, then it'll go to the liver, kidneys. You want to get it to be filtered through that liver. So if you're going to be doing lymphatic work and you don't know the directions of it, you're probably not doing lymphatic work. And there's a lot out there that's not really lymphatic work, even though it's called it. It's a lack of understanding of how this lymph system really operates. So you just follow the clavicles up, and then you kind of make a turn around the corner here, and then you go to the back. It's like a little chain of pearls that where the lymph is. It's all, in fact, it's called the neck chain. And so you want to just skin. Then when I go back, it's called a rinse, and I just push and then ride it back. When I rinse it, I don't do it as many times. So I'll do it again because it's a very unique and subtle technique to get that into your hands. So of course, if you're interested in learning some of that, that's what the course is all about. And then you want to go up. This is also kind of part of the neck chain. It's right up the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And it's the same thing, pushing it down and lift, and then riding it back, pushing and riding. Pushing and riding, and you go little by little, like little stair steps, getting it to move in that right direction. And then at this point, you want to turn your hands over. Now, if you're doing it by yourself, it's a little bit different hand technique, but because you're going to have to cross your hands, but then you go more to the back a little bit more to the back, and it's the same thing. It's a skin stretch down and then ride it back. Skin stretch down and ride it back. To really be effective with this, you want to consider having a full lymph session so that you do get all of the nodes open. But this is enough to get enough of the fluid moving that, there's not that much in the way of nodes in this system. So then you just kind of check it. And then, now if you're good at it, you can feel the lymph if it's moving or not, but we'll just skip that for now. Then you start up here underneath the chin. So the bone is here, and so you're underneath. And then you want to pull that back, because now this is all open, so the lymph is going to go in that direction. So you just pull the skin. And again, this is skin stretching technique. So there's 3 times. And then you move it a little farther, 3 times, and 3 times, or 5 times, depending on how swollen it feels. Now, there's a lot of little lymph nodes along here as well. So, and like I say, there's so many lymph vessels that if Karina were lying here and all we had was her lymph system and we didn't have anything else, we'd be able to recognize her, because there's so many that they're recognizable. Now, if we were gonna, if it was just her circulatory system, we wouldn't know who it is. So I got back up to the chin, the apex there of where the chin is, and I'm just pulling this down, this skin stretching down this way from the chin. And then when you get to the sides of the corners of the mouth, then you want to go up the little smile lines. And it's stretched down. Now, this is helpful to keep those filled in a little bit. And it's a skin stretching thing again. Skin stretch, ride back, up to the nose. And then you want to rinse it, so you can just push that down. You're pushing that fluid down, or I should say encouraging the flow of the, and then under the chin, and then continue to rinse down into the neck and down the neck. You can just rinse. Now, this should be pretty well rinsed, so it should be easy to take that little bit of fluid down that way. And then you open up those same nodes again. You just want to get it so that keeps on staying open. Then you can come back up here. You can either work your way up with the skin stretching or move your hands up here because it's already open. And then you go across the nose. So this helps with sinuses as well. So you kind of double dose. You can get your face to have a little more shine, and you can also help to clear the sinuses. So I went up to the bridge of the nose, and I'm coming back down the nose. And I'm not going to go down yet too far. I'm just going to go to the chin. And then I'm going to go back up to the nose. And I'll get the rest of that. Because we want to open up the pathways here. Then you get up to the bridge of the nose, and then you want to drain close to the eyes. Okay, and then you can take that down all the way. So skin stretch down. You're rinsing. And then under, and just take it all the way down. And I have to tell you, my hands just work so fast at this but you need to go slower at it. And then pumping it back into those clavicular nodes. Then you can come up to the sides of the face here and just start skin stretching down across. You're going to be skin stretching, and you're going to be going up toward the nose, across the cheeks. Just little skin stretching. I'm doing about 3 times, but you can go more than that. It's very relaxing. That's one thing, if you're doing it to yourself, you might just put yourself to sleep. And you want to go up kind of under the eyes, but we're not going to do under the eyes yet, but you go up close to under the eyes, about that far away. And then continue back down. And then again, taking it down to so. Okay, now we're going to go to the eyes. So your thumbs are going to work here, and you're going to go very close into those eyes, underneath those eyes. And it's that skin stretching. You just go around, you're pulling and then you're riding that skin back. So it's a stretch. So if you're doing some kind of a face stretching exercise, this would be good to do first, and then do that, because that helps. But this is really going to get the fluid moving, because a lot of people are very vague and they don't understand the fluids and how they move and how they are in the body and anatomically. So they say things that they think is going to work, but it really isn't very efficient in that regard. So we want to get you to learn the efficiency. Now above the eyes, you're going to go across the eyebrows. Now since we're working really finely here, very subtly, back down into the eyes again, and you can drain that. And then you can go back with that. And take it down, and then we're going to just skin stretch that down into it's kind of like pushing water, like down the drain through a bunch of obstacles, and then back to the clavicular nodes. Now you can also do across the eyelids. That's a very gentle thing to do. You just very gently go on the eyes, and you pull it up like sun rays, like your eyes are like sun rays. Oh, if you have contacts, you want to be careful with this one. And that's just to move the fluid out of the eyelids. And then you can just go back and take it across the eyebrows again. And then back down. And through here, the skin stretching. And there we go. And then the forehead, coming up and working this way into the forehead. Same thing, it's a skin stretching and a riding back. Skin stretching, stretch, ride, stretch, ride, stretch, ride. And then down around the ears. And down the face, the neck, and again to the dump. And then you can put the fingers inside the ears and you kind of grip it, and you just rotate opposite back and forth, like when one finger is going forward, the other finger is going back. You just kind of twist that. Now you have to hold pretty well, because you want to make the skins turn. So you have to make sure that you're not just slipping across the skin, but you're actually grounded enough into that, melded is a better word, into that ear, so that you can imagine twisting the tissue that's going inside the ear. And then you can go around the ear and to the back of the ear. And then down again this way. Okay. And then you can take just little rubs. There's really not much to do with the ears, but just to make them feel better. Just kind of circular things. It's just cartilage, and there's lymph in the ears, but they'll just do fine. Unless you have a big swollen ear, then you want to do, but because of the cartilage, it's kind of hard to skin stretch, so just kind of manipulate it a little bit. And then you can go into the skull, the same thing. Just take the skull and move it downward. And you can take a broad hand and pull it for it to finish up. Now, if you find yourself kind of congested through the shoulders, you can also move the lymph here, and then there's another way of moving some lymph in the armpit area. And I'll just show you that really quickly, because that will help to drain some of the maybe swollen. I always take some kind of a towel or something, and then it's just finding those nodes in there. There's a lot of nodes there, and just moving that. That's actually starting into the lymphatic work itself for the whole body, but we can open that up so that all the stuff being drained feels a little more complete. And you can go up this way. And again, you have to go to these nodes. So that just kind of opens that up, because sometimes we're kind of full in there. But then if you do get into the full lymphatic work, you can have your lungs drained and your liver drained, and the inguinal area drained for the legs and feet. And then you can, if you know how to map the fluid flow, you can find that fluid, and you'll feel, yeah, it's feeling like it's a river. So the flow is very strong, which is good. And then you can just kind of stretch the neck a little bit, like normal neck stretches, just to feel a little more stretch on that neck chain there. Okay, so that's how you can do that. So you can do it to yourself with a little bit different technique with your hands, because you have to cross your hands over, but I will show that into another video. Thank you so much for watching. Please share, please like, please leave a comment if you need to. I try to get to the comments, and I look forward to seeing you next time. I want to invite you to explore my course, The Foundations of Subtle Alignment. It is going to take you beyond the work of massage therapy. It will take you into the world of the subtle anatomy. Misalignment of the subtle structures is often the root cause of chronic pain, injuries, and chronically high levels of stress hormones. These techniques offer profound benefit whether you are working on people with complex issues or not. In this course, you will learn about the subtle anatomy and a protocol for assessing and aligning the subtle structures.